Hello, this is Dr. Joe. I am professor of Daegu University. Today, I would like to talk about BTS French and Korean cultural DNA. This article was published 영남일보 12 September 2022. BTS is the world's leading pop music group, is a South Korean 7-member boy group that debuted on June 13, 2013. BTS is the epitome of the Korean wave and sweeping the US music industry, which is the global music market. Recently, they have broken numerous records, including the Billboard Music Awards, the American Music Awards, the Variety and Grammy Awards, and is fiercely active as the world top singer. In this global BTS craze in an individual group event. Otherwise, it is a cultural DNA inherent in Korean explode in the form of popular music. 방대 페트로글릭 in 대공이 울산 metropolitan city are engraved with various animals and such as tigers, wild boars, and deer. And the scene of catching whales by boat is the oldest in the world and expresses the life of ancient people during the Neolithic and Bronze Ages, around 60,000 to 1000 BC. There are about 60,000 dolmen in the world in the form of dolmen, but there are 40,000 dolmen centered on the Korean peninsula, and 30,000 of dolmen there are distributed in Korea. Dolmen such as Hwasun, Sunchang, and Gangwon were registered as UNESCO World Heritage Sites in 2000. If the culture of burial is this high level, it is assumed that their standard of living will be comparable to that. It goes without saying that Sakram Hermitage is the best cultural heritage of Kai, and 무후중광 다란이 contained in the subcut top is the world's first woodblock print published around 751, the 10th years of King Jeongdeok of Silla. The natural treasure of Hain Temple in Hapcheon refer to the 3 chapters of the scripture, your and rice paddies, and is the general book of Buddhist scripture. This Tripitaka Koreana was published between the 24th and 35th years of King Gojong's reign of Goryeo. 1237 and 1248. It is called the Tripitaka Koreana because it has 80,000 editions and contains 84,000 Buddhist texts, equivalent to 84,000 Buddhist texts. Following Jikji, which is listed as a World Heritage Site, 남명 천화상증도 was recently discovered 138 years earlier than Jikji, proving once again that Korea is a dominant country in type culture. Then, how about Hangul? No other people in the world have ever created and written letter according to their needs, and they are more powerful in the era of fourth industrial revolution, which is represented by computers with a very scientific and reasonable character. In addition, it has countless historical and cultural properties that can change the history of the world civilization, such as Admiral Yi Sun-sin's turtle ship, which is the world's first ironclad ship, and Chejeud Donggyeongdaejeon. How can it be only cultural assets? High-tech industries such as world best wireless internet, Wi-Fi, color TV, and shipbuilding are also driving the global economy. History proves that there have been countless things in our world that can lead human civilization since prehistoric times. However, it is also true that there is a fatal weakness, whether it is intentional or not. They have not aware of how great they are and tend to underestimate themselves rather than inherit and develop themselves. As a representative example, it was devalued without knowing the excellence of Hangul created by King Sejong, and it takes more than 500 years for the entire nation to use it. It is regrettable that our civilization would have developed more brilliantly if we recognized the value of Hangul and made it the world's first textbook that can be used by the people. When the major development countries around the world enter industrial society, Korea heritage to an advanced industrial society. As a result, she suffered the collapse of Joseon, Japan's colonial rule, the Korean War, and the military dictatorship. However, despite this adversity, it achieved unprecedented economic growth in world history. and entered the developed country from an absolute poverty country in just 5 and 60 years, 50 and 60 years. What is prouder is that it has achieved democracy with numerous sacrifices and civil revolutions, from the Dongak Patient Revolution in 1894 to the March 1st movement and the April 19th revolution and the May 18th democratic movement and the June 10th democratic uprising and candlelight revolution, such as BTS and the Korean Wave, are accumulation of a long history. And in our blood, we have great genes that should never be ignored or devalued. Now it is time to abandon the idea of Korea's discount, and practice the ideology of Hongik humanity for the first time since its founding, with inaccurate and objective evaluation. In the future, we must overcome the Korean wave and repay the harm we received from countries around the world during the Korean War, and ultimately become a country that is beneficial to all lives on earth and lead forward as the world leaders. Thank you very much. I want to stop now.